All right, I think we are ready to go. I would just like to welcome all of our security pros. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on today's ESA webinar, which is on streamlining revenue acceleration. Close more deals, deliver more profitable projects, and generate more business from the customers you already have with SiteOwl. In this webinar, SiteOwl's Vice President of Sales, Stephanie Mays, and Head of Customer Success, Chris Wilson, will discuss how integrators can use SiteOwl to standardize and streamline their lifecycle management processes to become more profitable and deepen customer relationships. I'm Hannah Boone, ESA's Marketing Manager, and I'm excited to lead this webinar today. Before we dive in, I'd like to provide some tips for those of you joining us on your first ESA webinar. Welcome. You'll be muted for the duration of this session, but that doesn't mean we don't want to hear from you. If a question or comment comes to mind at any point during today's webinar, click the Q&A icon at the bottom of your screen, and I'll ensure we have some time for your questions with our experts towards the end of this session. We'll also be recording today's webinar, so you can rewatch the on-demand session and share it with your colleagues. Tomorrow you'll receive an email thanking you for your attendance today, and you'll also be provided with all of the slides. So if you enjoyed today's quality content and best practice sharing, make sure that you register for the Electronic Security Expo, which is being held June 14th through 17th in the Fort Worth, Texas area. This event is designed by and for the pro-installed electronic security and life safety channel, and with over 30 sessions driven by panels of integrators and dealers, paving the way in areas like reducing truck rolls, managing attrition, cash flow, and more. Your leadership is sure to find tactical advice to bring back to the business. We at ESA realize that your time is valuable, and we appreciate you spending some of that time with us today. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our SiteOwl experts. Stephanie Mays. Stephanie Mays is SiteOwl's Vice President of Sales, and she has industry experience with over 25 years of experience in operations, sales, business management. And Stephanie is also a member of the SIA Executive Council and an executive board member at Mission 500. And then we have Chris Wilson. Chris Wilson leads customer success at SiteOwl. He has 20 plus years of security industry experience and has held various positions throughout the course of his career. Chris is certified as a certified SIA instructor with deep industry expertise and has held executive leadership roles with security integrators, consultants, and manufacturers. So without further ado, I'm going to hand off everything to y'all.
Thank you, Hannah. We're really happy to be here with you today, and thanks so much to ESA for the opportunity to meet with everyone. So I'd like to start out with what our agenda will be for the next hour. We're going to begin discussing the industry paradox, followed by lifecycle management on the cloud, and then we're going to show you how SiteOwl software can deliver an improved experience for your company and your customers alike. So as Hannah mentioned, I've been in the security industry for over 25 years, and I started as an integrator. And while the technology that we provide as integrators and security manufacturers has evolved significantly over the last period of time that I've been in the business, the processes that we use internally, unfortunately, haven't changed too much. The security industry in North America alone is forecasted to grow more than 30% over the 5-year period from 2021 to 2026. But the methods for doing designs and managing operations and service haven't changed that much since I started in the business in the early 90s. An MIT study found that companies who undergo a digital transformation are 23% more profitable than those who are adhering to the old methodology of operating their businesses. So if that's the case, then why are the majority of system integrators still using old school analog technology to sell IP solutions? Digital transformation of your business can improve your profits by driving top line growth and reducing your costs. So let's talk a little bit about lifecycle management on the cloud and how this works with SiteOwl. So with SiteOwl, everyone and everybody involved in the entire project lifecycle is connected from the beginning to the end. So the root of most problems that we experience in business and in life usually come down to a failure to communicate. So when you consider all of the various personas involved in a project, from the customer and their stakeholders to the sales and engineers and their integration companies, to our operations delivery teams, project managers, technicians, and subcontractors, and finally in the service department, there are many, many places and opportunities for communication to break down. So at SiteOwl, we want to get everybody on the same page. And so we put the intelligent digital floor plan as a central repository for all data so that everyone can be kept on the same page at the same time for any given customer site. So SiteOwl is a purpose-built cloud-based application that provides a standardized delivery experience, which minimizes your reliance on tribal knowledge, it decreases your guesswork, it makes it easier to teach and onboard new people, and can help you improve your productivity and quality. Digitization in turn can make things, far more easier to maintain, far more easy to maintain your communication flows, maintain all of the information in one location, helps alleviate when you're adding new people onto your employment, and elevates your customer experience. So our base platform, SiteOwl Projects, consists of a web app and 2 mobile apps. So when we start thinking about a project, we start thinking about a design. So SiteOwl enables real-time collaboration via a purpose-built web application and iPad mobile app, DesignOwl. So I could be designing an access control system in the office while Chris is out in the field walking a VMS job, and we can easily see what the other person is working on. There's no checking out the floor plan so that only one person can work on a digital floor plan at a time. We can collaborate in real time. Chris can take photographs of doors that I may need information on lock hardware. And as soon as he uploads it on his end, I can see it in the office on my side. Once a project is sold, we move into more of a project management view on our web application, which allows our project managers to assign devices and tasks to specific technicians, and for technicians in the field to use their Android or iPhone and see everything related to the floor plan on their phone, drill into the details, see any drawings or photographs that were captured in design, and track all of that relevant data as they're progressing through the installation. So your technicians and subcontractors alike can upload those quality control photos documenting the installation is complete, and integrators can invite your end users in to a view-only mode to share progress updates and see that your invoices are paid on time because you have proof and documentation that you're the percent complete you claim to be. Once a project is finished, we move into what we call SiteOwl Live. That allows you to manage everything to do with the service on that particular customer site. So your service department now has audit history capability at the device level for when things were installed, who installed them, what the warranty information is, as well as your service techs on their Android or iPhone and using the ServiceOwl app can see specific connection points to network switches, panels, IDF locations, etc. So it minimizes the time that they're spending with the customer asking them to show them where things are on the property. So now I'd like to walk you through how SiteOwl delivers each of the project aspects that we've discussed. So let's start first with design and show you how easy it is to collaborate for sales teams and customers. So in just a minute, Chris is going to show you how SiteOwl enables you to easily produce a rich digital design, how you can collaborate with your team and your customers, how you can generate a parts list automatically based on the design. As you add devices to your floor plan, your bill of materials automatically will populate. SiteOwl helps you create professional project presentations, and we allow you to provide a quick CSV export so that you can pull that into your current quoting tools or ERP type system. So I'm going to hand this off to Chris.
So now let's take a look at the SiteOwl web app. What you're seeing here is a customer within the SiteOwl application. I'm set up as the ABC security integrator, and my customer, Contemporary Design University, has a variety of projects underway. They currently have 2 sites set up, and they'll have 1 project in the design phase and 1 project currently in the installation phase. Let's go have a look at the plan library where we can manage all of the sites that exist for this customer. You can see we have a main campus, which is compiled of a first building on North 14th Street and a second building that are off-site offices, each that have multiple plans. They also have a Texas office that has just a single plan associated. Let's go look at some of the projects that they have underway. So currently, we're working on designing a headquarters video and access control project. I can navigate again. I can see the same building where this project is being built and the floor plan in which we're taking a look. So here's an example of a design project that we're working on for this customer. I can edit this plan, and you'll notice that I've got a variety of favorites. I can take those commonly used cameras and accessories or doors with the peripherals that are needed, link those together, and easily have them accessible from the favorites selection. I also have the ability to import and export my favorites to be able to use those on other customers in the future. I mentioned cameras with other mounts. Here's how some of those would look. So here's a primary camera that has a camera license, a network jack, a network cable, and some programming tasks assigned to that. In this way, I can see all of the other devices that are necessary or tasks that are necessary to complete the installation of this particular camera. Within each device, you'll see a variety of attributes that can be done. Things like part number, manufacturer, installation hours, even the ability to attach images to this particular device. In addition, furthermore on the information tab, I can put in things like serial number, IP address, even manage the coverage area, these cones that you're seeing in front of the camera, to be able to really get a rich design around the design that I'm putting together for this particular camera. A couple of other things that I can see, I could invite my customer to this, so my customer would be able to see and view the same design that I've put together. They would be able to see different devices. You can see they're configured by system type, so the orange ones are your video surveillance type, the green ones here are access control, the blue or the light blue color you're seeing is our infrastructure or data cabling. So I easily get all this information. I'm also, from the filters selection, I'm able to turn on and off any number of attributes around the system. And as well, I get a count here where I can quickly get a full bill of materials and device list of everything that's been included, automatically generated by the system just by entering those part numbers as I've gone through that. One other thing I can look at is if I have any live devices, this will be able to show me where those might be, in which case I can give you an example of that as we look into the installation phase. So we'll talk about that in a minute. I also have the ability under some of my devices, I can do things like manage connections. So under my information tab, I have the ability to manage connections here. So I can select a different hub, and now I can show that that's an established connection between this camera and the network switch that it's going to be connected to. Now let's take a look at how this would look in the SiteOwl mobile application for iPad. You can see the Contemporary Design University across the top, so we'll see the same customer, and we can see the same project that we were looking at in the design phase. When I navigate into that customer, I'm able to see the same devices. By default, this is going to show me the devices as they're in their installation status. I can also see any of the same item counts and filters that I was looking at when I was in the web app. From here, some of the things that I may want to do is modify the design phase, and I may want to add an additional device. By clicking the pin at the bottom, I've now got those same favorites that I wanted to use before, and I can navigate to add those to the plan. Simply drag and drop the device out there. Now I can see the primary device has been added, as well as the secondary devices that are associated. Again, you can see these same type of devices, the camera, the network jack, the cable, and the programming that we were looking at before. One of the other things I can do is actually capture a photo, so I can show where that camera is to be installed. I'm going to use that photo And then it's going to give me the option to mark that up should I want to. So I can put an indicator here on maybe that's where I want to add the camera, and save and finish. So now my installers know exactly where that camera should be installed as they get ready to proceed when they get to the installation phase. Again, keeping the connectivity from design phase to installation phase, it shares that communication path throughout the customers and all the different people in the supply chain that would need to be able to access the data for these cameras. One other thing that I could do here is I could do things like, mount my ceiling height. I could put an installation note. I could add a note on the view and be able to save that. And now, again, these notes and these images will live on with that device as it moves into the installation phase. So let's take a look back at the web app, and we'll see how we can then look at that data from that angle as well. You'll see in the web app, I can now see the camera that I've added from the SiteOwl iPad app on the same plan. I can click on this camera and be able to see all of the data which I've entered. There's the image that I took with the markup that was added, as well as the notes that were added, the ceiling height and the installation notes. So I've got the ability to capture this information in the field and then come back to my office and be able to make those edits if necessary, or enrich the data that's behind that device that's been added to the plan. As I mentioned before, you've got the filter option here, so you can view the plan in various different ways, both in system type or the operational status, as well as the count of devices. This count now would have been updated to include the additional video surveillance device that was added as part of my additional site walk. The other thing that you may find the need for is reports based on this design project. So as we'll go back to the design project, there's a reporting function built into the SiteOwl application. One of the most common photo reports that's going to be used is your project overview report. So we can download that. As this project's in the design phase, I'm not going to include the summary, as that's typically going to be more of your installation report. And we'll go ahead and run a download here so we can see what type of items are included. In this report, we'll get the overview. We have our branding for our integrator, as well as any of the project details. There's our full parts list that was generated, segmented and broken out by part number, and the counts that are included, all of the devices on the system. And then we've got our floor plans. So you can see the device pins with the corresponding devices that are included. They're all in the plan state, as this is a design project. Some of the other information that's relevant is, again, we've got that full parts list. We've got the ability here to see the parts list, and we can export that via CSV to easily share that to other applications, as well as our full connection diagram. So we can see there's a network switch with the devices which are connected to that. Once I've completed the design phase of this project, I can mark this as complete, and I can move this over to the installation phase. So let's look at how this would be done. On the design project, I can go back to my information tab, and I have my design status. So here I can mark this as done, stating that my design phase has been done and I'm going to be ready for installation. I can also then go to my project actions and move this to installation. At this point, now the project is going to show up in our installation phase, and our installation crews will be ready to take a look at this project and complete the work in the field. I'll be back shortly to show you more about the installation phase of these projects and how you can see their progress as they continue on as the field work's being done. So I'll see you shortly.
Thank you, Chris. To recap, you can now provide a digital site survey for every project that you design. You can collaborate and co-design with your customers, sharing via a web application such as Zoom or Teams, or in the field, in person, using your iPad. You can generate an automated parts list. Your design approvals can be shortened from days and weeks to hours, because you can easily share those designs with your customer and make changes quickly on the fly. You can export all of your bill of materials information in a quick CSV. So let's move into the next phase. Now that you've sold your project, we'll move into installation. So as you can see in the Stillbert cartoon, managing projects is sometimes really hard. So let's now see Chris demonstrating how SiteOwl can manage the installation portion of a project.
Now we'll have a look at the projects that are in the installation phase. So before we saw the projects that were in our design phase. Now, as the project has continued on, we're in the installation phase where the work is going to be completed in the field. So I'm back in the same customer where I can now go into my installation projects and be able to see that I have a phase 2 of the security system build out underway. So I can expand this and I can easily see that I've had some work being completed. I've had various devices and then tasks completed over the last 30 days as this project has progressed. I also get a snapshot of how far along we are. So we're almost 38% done with the job and we're continuing to progress this. So let's take a look at some of the items that are left. So there's a variety of items here on the basement floor plan that need to be completed. And we're going to go in and assign these to a technician to be able to do those. So we've got media players, we've got specified AV techs that need to be able to complete that work. So we're going to assign those to an individual. So in the assign to field, I can see anybody that has access to this particular project. And we're going to assign these to Heather as she's our AV expert for this project. We're also going to give her the projector screen for the same room so she can complete that work while she's in the same space. Further, I'm going to go over to some of our door position sensors for access control and intrusion devices, and we're going to assign those. I'll go ahead and give those to myself so I can go in and complete those works here shortly. And I can also assign secondary devices as well to be able to see those as necessary. I'm also going to go up to a different floor. So we're going to go up to the ground floor for this particular one, and we'll save those changes as we progress. And we can see there's other devices that need to still be installed. So I'll assign those to myself as well so I can do those door position switches for the front entryway. So now as a project manager, I can easily assign which techs should be performing which tasks in the field. And we'll now have a look at how that looks for the SiteOwl mobile phone app to the technicians in the field. So now I'm in the SiteOwl mobile app for iPhone. The SiteOwl app is available for iPhone and Android mobile devices. You can see I'm in the same customer, Contemporary Design University, and I'm looking at the projects which are in installation. So the SiteOwl app is used just for installation projects, making it very easy for technicians in the field to have the data that they need. I can expand the project. There's a star on the side where I can click that to add that to my favorites. So if I'm a technician working on multiple projects, or I have a couple of them that are in progress, but I have one or two that are favorites that I'm going to on a regular basis, I can easily add, remove those, or edit my favorites list just by selecting that star icon on the left side. You'll notice also in the bottom left corner, I'm in an online mode, meaning I have connectivity. So the SiteOwl app is set up to be able to use an online mode or an offline mode. So once I've navigated into a plan, if I do need to go offline for the ability to be on a site that has limited connectivity, I can still do the work that I need once I'm already in that plan from a connection. I'm now going to navigate into the plan where I can see I'm on the basement. I can see there's a lot of different devices, but I can navigate and tell where I am in the floor plan. I can also expand and see that there's multiple floor plans to be able to do that. To make this easier, I'm going to filter this to devices that are just assigned to myself. So what that's going to do is really simplify my view to be able to tell exactly where I'm going in. I can pinch to zoom and navigate over to the devices. I get an orientation of where I am in the facility and the work that needs to be completed. So now I can say, okay, what device am I going to work on? I'm going to go take a look at the Mortise lock set, and I'm going to be able to do some work and be able to indicate what I'm doing here. So I'm going to say, I've now installed this device. It's fully operational. I had to bore the door. So they know that I've cross-bored that door and run the installation. Tested and verified functionality. So I've got information. I can also capture an image using the phone on my mobile device, or I can upload an image if I've already got one attached, that I've taken previously and it's in the photo roll. And I'm going to make that change and save that. You can see here there's an option to pause the sync. Should I be in a place where I don't have connectivity when I go to make this change, I can simply hit pause sync. It'll move me into that offline mode and allow me to update those in a future time when I do get back to connection. I'm now going to go into the request to exit motion. And I'm going to use a feature called the flag. So I'm going to indicate here that the wire was not run for device. And let me scroll up here so you can see. So what I'm doing here is, as a technician, I'm going to alert the project manager that there's an issue in the field and that I'm not able to complete the task that was assigned to me and make them aware. So I can add that flag, and I'm going to mark that as in progress because I was trying to work on it, but I ran into an issue and I was not able to do that. One of the other things to note is you can use your speech to text, so your voice to text feature of your mobile device in any of these fields to make it really easy as a technician to be able to do those. We'll go into a couple of other devices and mark these as installed. We'll take a look at this door position switch, and we'll mark that as installed and fully operational as well. I'm also going to go up to the ground floor where I had a couple of other devices. As I've already now done those, we'll go ahead and filter that to just me so I can see those devices that are assigned to myself. Again, pinch to zoom, and I can navigate easily to the devices that are necessary. And I'm going to mark these again as installed and operational. Again, if I wanted to attach photos or any notes, all those are available for every individual device, making it really easy to see that information. Let me zoom in a little bit. And we'll mark that one as installed and operational as well. Again, the pause sync is there should I need it in an offline mode. So now you'll see that as a project manager, we'll go back and see how this looks in the web app, and we'll be able to see those changes have been reflected. Now that I'm back at my installation project, I can see that my project has progressed from almost 38% to just about 39.46 as a result of the additional devices that have been installed. So let's have a look that I can see those now from here. So we'll go into the building. We can now see in the basement, the door position switch has been installed. As a secondary device, my mechanical room mortise lock set was installed, and I can see my request to exit motion that has a flag connected. So let's have a look at that flag. So this is where I can see the flag note. So again, as a project manager, I'm logged in and I can see I've received an email notification, and I can log in and see what this flag is about and be able to identify that the wire was not run for the device. I can then also edit this. I could put in a note. That the wire has now been installed, and I can remove the flag. And I'm going to make that save. So the technician was able to raise the flag to alert me to a problem. I, as the project manager, was able to take care of that issue and then put a note in the flag that it's now been taken care of and resolve that flag. So we'll go back now to the installation project. Again, we can see various bits of information. We can see devices that have been installed, so we get a quick snapshot of how are we doing on a day-by-day basis. We can also hover on each one of those and get an exact count. Some of the other things that are necessary or in our reporting process, we can see our project overview report. So again, today, now I'm going to leave this project summary or progress summary on, and we'll go ahead and run this report similar to the one that we did in the design phase. This one will take a bit longer as it's a much larger project, but we'll be able to see, here's our project status, a breakdown by floor plan of how we're doing on the project. And again, the same parts list that we saw before, rolled up by part number, and then a floor plan and the associated devices for that. Some of the other things that are super helpful here in the parts list, I've got the ability to see all of my parts for the particular project. I can export that as necessary. I can see any connection diagrams that are associated to the project. One other thing we'll take a look at is we can go back to our floor plan. We'll be able to see any devices that have photos attached. So I know on the first floor, when these cameras were installed, there were photos that were attached showing the field of view. So I can now see I've got an image attached showing the field of view. So the technician was able to capture that in the field during the installation phase. And now I can see that data, and that will live on with the live system as well. Now that the installation project has been nearly completed, or once it has been completed, I can go into the information. I'd be able to mark this project as done and be able to, and we'll go ahead and do that. And then we'll be able to mark, publish that over to our live system, which is where we'll be able to see those live devices. Speaking of live devices, one of the things that might come up as helpful for your technicians in the field when they're looking at the plans is to be able to see any live devices that are there. I mentioned this when we were in the design phase, but let's have a look at how that looks. I'm going to go into my filter option, and it's going to have an option to show live devices. I can turn that on, and now I can see in the dark blue any of those live devices which were previously installed. So we'll talk more about the live system and other features shortly, and I'll be back soon to tell you more.
Thanks for that, Chris. So to recap, SiteOwl helps you eliminate manual job reporting because now you're automatically able to pull a daily installation report based on the information that's changed in the field from your technicians. You can keep track of the progress in real time. You can automate your project reporting, so you can schedule those reports to go out to you or interested stakeholders at certain intervals. And you can ensure that every time you deliver a project, you're delivering it to the same standard. Additionally, the quality control photos allow you to verify what's being done in the field. And that's particularly helpful when you're using subcontractors or you're doing projects in multiple locations that you're not able to travel to and inspect in a routine basis. Lastly, because you actually have that real-time data that you can show and share with your customer, you can get paid faster. So when you invoice somebody that says you're 50% complete, they can see that you are 50% complete. So next, we're going to speak about the service side of things, what we call SiteOwl Live. SiteOwl Live has a service ticketing and asset tracking capability. But let's talk about the pains that your customers face when they're servicing or receiving service from integrators today.
Building security professionals have a lot on their plate. Managing hundreds of devices, staying up to date on threats, meeting internal client needs, and estimating costs accurately are just some of your many responsibilities.
Hi, Julia. I have reports of 2 cameras out in the south wing of the admin building. We need a tech to repair them. I need to check the warranty status, too. Admin south wing. There are 35 cameras in this wing alone.
How much time is spent reacting to system failures, service requests, and chasing information rather than being proactive about your access control, video, and intrusion detection systems?
This is Bob.
Hi, Bob, it's Julia. The tech can't locate the cameras. Which ones were they again?
Hang on. Let me check on those again.
Which cameras? Bob, when were these cameras installed? Are you sure we installed them? What is the warranty status on these? Bob, which cameras?
How do you stay on top of the situation when you don't know where to start?
It's next to impossible to keep up with all our security needs. I need more resources, but my budget wasn't approved. I don't have enough time in my day to get to all of these issues.
For many security professionals, this scenario is all too familiar. But now, there's a new way to manage security. SiteOwl provides an innovative, web-based solution that gives you the clear picture across your access control, video, and intrusion detection systems. SiteOwl's security system software provides critical system information on video surveillance, intrusion detection, communication systems, and access control, and puts it all at your fingertips.
Ah, there we go.
Use SiteOwl to access digital floor plans and view all your devices and data in one place. With SiteOwl, you know exactly what needs your attention. With SiteOwl, you're never in the dark. Easily track all system information and resolution status in one spot. Plus, SiteOwl's reporting functionality puts you back in control with clear device, ticketing, costs, and warranty information, ensuring every dollar you spend makes a difference. Want to learn more? Register for a free demo now.
So that was an earlier video we made, but we thought it was very relevant even today. So let's talk a little bit about SiteOwl Live and what it provides you and your customers. A system dashboard as a single source of truth to show the capabilities and functionality of every device on your system, what's working, what's not working, whether there are service tickets open, etc. You get the ability to have device level ticketing so that you can track to that audit history that we spoke about earlier, down to the device level, who installed it, when is the warranty expiring. You can do serial number searches, etc. Warranty tracking, which I know when I was an integrator, oftentimes we lost money by writing things off as customer goodwill when we couldn't locate the dates in a timely manner and weren't sure if it was in warranty or not. But SiteOwl also allows you to continue to track those adds, moves, and changes on that patented living floor plan. So your floor plans are continually evolving as the system changes. And you have all of that data at your fingertips for the ease of planning and budgeting. So Chris is now going to do a brief demo on SiteOwl Live.
So now let's take a look at the third and final phase of the project. So we've gone from design to installation, and now we're going to manage that as a live system. So we'll go into the live system for this same customer, and we can see that across the two different sites, at the main campus site here, on the ground floor, we have 72 devices which have been installed and 8 devices on the third floor. So let's have a look at what devices those are. So you'll see these are all the exterior cameras. So in phase 1, we installed the exterior cameras. These are the same devices that I was able to show over on the installation phase that appeared in dark blue. They're showing in a light blue here as they're all in an operational status, operational state, and we're viewing them from the live system. So there's a couple of things I can do with these live devices. I can do a right click and I can create a new ticket. So I could say this device is down. I could put no video from camera and be able to show who's the requester, who should this be assigned to. We'll let Stephanie know that she needs to take care of this camera. What's the priority? Actually, this is covering a parking lot area and it's super high, and we need to repair that camera. And we'll go ahead and create that ticket, and then Stephanie will be made aware that now there's an issue with that particular camera. Some of the other things that we can show is we can right click and we can view the history of the device. So we can see that I've been, the date and time and the work that was done. So the design was done back on April 22nd, and then the installation was completed, and then the project was moved, and then the camera was operational. So you get these full timestamps and date history of the camera, as well as any issues that are resolved around that. Some of the other things that we can see around this camera is, again, all of the information that was done, those part numbers, those manufacturers, any of those photos that were associated previously would then be connected. You'll see this has been moved to a non-operational status, as that's related to the ticket that I've indicated that the camera was not operational. Moving across to the information tab, again, the same information that was previously entered during the design and installation phases lives with the device ongoing. There's other information that we can update and put in, like warranty expiration, so that that data can be captured. There's now a new field here in the live system called associated, where now I can see any tickets that are associated to that particular device. In this instance, you can now manage that device full way through and be able to keep that same data from the design, the installation, and the live system, and easily keep that data intact, sharing that information across the teams as you go on. Thanks for your time, and we'll let Stephanie wrap it up with the remainder of the webinar. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Apologize, I thought I'd unmuted. Let's take a look at how SiteOwl can help your business digitally transform. So SiteOwl, on the design side of things, helps you easily move into a more consultative selling motion. So you can easily review and collaborate with your customers as you're doing a design, It can improve your sales cycles because in real time, you can quickly make changes on the fly. And it helps you look more professional by providing a drawing for every single project, which isn't something that you might not be, or might be something that you're not doing today. SiteOwl on the installation side helps you eliminate those pesky daily job reports that the technicians have to keep track of. It helps you keep everyone, whether they're an employee, subcontractor, or even the customer, on the same page as progress is documented to the device level. You can include quality control photographs and ensure your project delivery is consistent and scalable and repeatable each and every time. And then when we get into the service side of things, SiteOwl Live helps you provide a living floor plan with all the project devices viewable on one floor plan, regardless of when they were installed. So you have a rich audit history and a way to more easily find and locate your warranty and installation dates. And you can help your customers with their lifecycle and budget planning for technology upgrades using the data that is held in SiteOwl. So the warranty data at your fingertips helps you avoid those pesky write-offs that I mentioned earlier. So to recap, SiteOwl puts the intelligent floor plan at the center of all aspects of your customer journey by our purpose-built cloud-based web application and purpose-built mobile apps. So to paraphrase Shep Hyken, who is a customer service expert, Chris and I can tell you all day long how amazing SiteOwl is, but our customers are truly our best advertisers. So here's what a few of our customers have to say about SiteOwl. So All Systems Global is a 30-year-old integrator, and they digitally transformed their business with SiteOwl and noticed a marked improvement with their gross profitability and gross margins on their project delivery. Blackbox signed up for us when we were in our beta state 4 years ago and used us for Home Depot rollouts nationally. We're able to effectively get their customer design approvals down from multiple weeks to less than an hour by able to collaborate with their customers. USA Security provides very consultative designs, so they're constantly evolving those designs with their customers, and they found that SiteOwl software really helped them keep everybody on the same page. And as things changed, they were easily able to share that data with their customers. And lastly, RazWatch deploys retail projects nationally. And as you can see from the quote on the screen, they were able to effectively deliver a 260 location deployment, which is a lot to keep track of. If you can imagine how many multiple locations they were going to, and they had subs all over the place. So that's a lot. So if you'd like more information about SiteOwl, drop me an email, give us a call, come see us at the ESX show that Hannah mentioned in a few weeks. Chris will be there, I will be there. And if there are any questions in the chat, or you've thought of anything that we didn't address in this webinar, please drop them in the chat window and Chris and I will do our best to answer them.
Perfect. Thank you, Stephanie. It does look like we did get a few questions. So I will just pull that up right now. All right, so the first question we have in here was, how do you control who sees what information?
So Chris?
Sure, I'll take that one. So SiteOwl, everybody has their own rights and roles within the permissions-based permission setup within SiteOwl. So you can tell somebody they're view only, or they're a technician, or they're like a service coordinator, manager level. So each individual is given the permissions, and then that will correlate to what they can see, and more importantly, what they shouldn't see, and controls it that way.
Perfect. All right, it looks like we have another one. How many project managers and technicians, sorry, wait 1 second. All right, can multiple people work on the same design?
So 100% yes, Hannah. As we mentioned, regardless of if you're in that design phase or the installation phase, real-time collaboration is at the core of SiteOwl. So as I mentioned on the design slides at the beginning, I could be designing one type of system while Chris is out in the field walking a different type of system, taking photographs as part of those design notes. When I save my work, Chris can see what I've done. When he saves it on his side, I can see what he's done. So yeah, that is an absolute key and core benefit to the SiteOwl software.
Perfect. And just pulling up those questions again. All right, so how do you use SiteOwl with subcontractors?
Hey, Chris, you want to take that one?
Yeah, I'll take it. So we have, for subcontractors, we have what we call floating licenses. So we're looking at users that are accessing the system as subs during a 30-day period. So you can give those permissions that I talked about earlier. You can assign those to your subcontractors. They'll have the ability to mark things as installed, add a flag to a device if there's something that's not set up or ready for them, add photos, and do anything that they would be, and then have that record of who's done that work. But we've got special licenses for subcontractors to be able to help manage that for you as an integrator.
Fantastic. All right, and another question is, does SiteOwl work on job sites with poor or no cell phone network?
So the answer to that is yes. Chris did demo that as part of his video on the installation process. But yes, whether you're in design on your iPad walking a project, or you're on any of the mobile apps on the iPhone or Android, you have the ability to pause sync. So pause synchronization, and you're at the bottom of your screen, you'll get a little green icon that says sync has been paused. So it will remind you and prompt you as you continue to save things that syncing is paused. And then at the end of the day, when you're able to get on a better connection for your phone or your iPad, you simply hit that sync button, and all of those changes will be uploaded in real time.
Great. All right, so that looks like all the questions I have in here now. So if you'd like, that can be us closing the webinar, unless there's anything you'd like to add or leave more time for people to enter any last minute questions.
I'd just like to say thanks a lot for having us. And as I mentioned, Chris and I will both be at ESX in booth 451. Chris is actually going to be conducting a training on the show floor. So we'd love to meet anybody that's viewed the webinar in person. And if you have any additional questions or comments, please reach out to us.
Perfect. Thanks everyone for attending today's ESA webinar, and thank you SiteOwl for your great presentation. And that will be a wrap up of today's webinar. Hope to see you all at ESX in June. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.